Hello humans, this is me Evermore Sol and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we have a pick a card reading on what your ancestors have to say about your relationship. So let me just go ahead and start off by saying this is not the reading I had planned. Originally when I sat down to do a reading, I was just going to do a simple general ancestor message. And I guess the ancestor realized that I was opening myself back up to a message. And they said, well, we have something to say about our children's relationship. So we are here and being quite honest. They are about to spill all the tea, so you have been warned. This is not going to be a message about what you want to hear. It's going to be a message about what you need to hear specifically from them. So keep that in mind. You have been warned, and we're going to jump right into the meditation. So for those of you that chose pile number one, we're going to start on your tarot cards before moving into the on-camera shuffle for your oracle cards. We have Suru. The heart of the wise man lies quiet like limpid water. We also have Idanimo, recognition, or the words of the wise become sweet the day after. Ibadaduno, I hope I pronounced that right, loss. It is the one who lives in the house who knows where the roof leaks. And last but not least, Yokudo, or withdraw, a fish that can see its water getting shallow cannot be stranded. So we have Suru, which is temperance, the 6 of clubs, 5 of diamonds, and the 8 of hearts. As I was shuffling, they came through with their message very, very clearly. And what they specifically said is there are too many people dipping their hands into your relationship. And we can take this a couple of ways, obviously, but what they are really communicating to me through these cards, especially seeing that this loss, the 5 of diamonds card in Suru, it's all about balance. What I feel like it's been an imbalance in the relationship due to some loss of trust essentially. And I'm sure you already know where I'm going with this. I don't really want to go into detail. Obviously I'm referring to cheating, and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it's not resonating, this probably isn't the pile for you. But what I'm seeing is making the decision to stay with someone after you did the betraying or they did the betraying. I don't like to assume whichever person did the betraying, but you guys making that decision to stay with one another. But the issue is you're having a hard time getting back, like having that stability in your relationship. There's hope there, 8 of hearts. There's hope there. There's hope for things to improve. There's hope for you two to get back into good graces and to have the healthy, amazing relationship that you had. But there's a lot of blockages. Part of that is because of an imbalance in the relationship itself. I'm seeing that both of you to each other can be very hot and cold because you're really struggling handling your emotions right now because of people still being in pain, and people feel like even though they're trying their best to be a better person, they're not really getting that recognition that they're trying their hardest. And I feel like honestly neither of you are acknowledging or recognizing each other's efforts, whether whoever betrayed who. Like if you're the one who was betrayed, they're not recognizing the person who betrayed you. They're not recognizing how you're really trying your hardest to, let them back in. And the person who betrayed you feels like they're not being recognized on trying to be a better, I'm hearing spouse. So some of you may be married as well, but they're not being recognized for really trying to be a better spouse in all areas. And it's causing this imbalance because you're getting hot and cold. So some people will be trying to put in effort, but it not being reciprocated because of their emotions. And I'm feeling, and what your ancestors are coming through and they're saying is you two really need to be honest and open and vulnerable about how you're feeling in the moment, instead of, I'm hearing, slamming the door shut. I'm physically seeing someone slam the door shut, or completely just closing them off and not speaking to them at all. They're really saying if you want to have this relationship get back in good graces after this betrayal, you need to be able to speak your emotions, because the other person is not a mind reader. Also, when they initially said that saying, there are too many people dipping their toes into the relationship, or dipping into your relationship. The other issue that we're running into with this group is a lot of you are really struggling because other people know. And I'm not hearing just like one or two people know who you went and vent to, but like I'm hearing like a lot of people know. I'm hearing that parents know, and that the parents told other families, other family members. I'm really feeling like the people dipping themselves into your relationship is family, but it could be friends as well. But there's essentially saying like all these people are kind of like in your relationship's business now, and not all of them have the best intentions for you two. So I'm hearing that they, for one, are saying like you're gonna have to stop telling so many people. Again, even if it was one or two, if it's a person that struggles with keeping things on the down low, even if it's somebody you're close to, you're gonna have to learn to not tell them everything. Like it has to get to the point where you are like, yeah, I'm going through something, but honestly, I don't want to tell you. They're saying like set that healthy boundary, that person, because they're going off and running their mouths to other people. And I'm hearing that like you've noticed it because other people have had like slip-ups around you where they said the situation that's going on, and you said like, well, how do you know what's going on if I never even told you in the first place? And then you're kind of making like connecting those dots in your head like, oh, I told this specific person and they probably are the ones who told you. You have to be very, very careful and very, very mindful of who you're letting in on your relationship, and it's not you being secretive. It's not you, it's partly not trusting people, but people will just go running off the mouths, and when it spreads, that is going to affect your relationship, because people are going to have this perception of what you should be doing in your relationship, I'm hearing, or if you should stay or if you should go. And honestly, right now in this moment, while you two are building back up, the only people that need to know about your relationship right now is you. And I'm hearing they're saying that one person that you trust fully, that you sometimes need to vent to, and that's it. I'm hearing like no more than that one specific person that's coming to your mind right now. Whew, man. They also said be mindful of nosy neighbors as well. They said be mindful of nosy neighbors. So let's go ahead and shuffle some more oracle cards, because your ancestors are clearly coming through about your relationship and really spilling the tea, but they're more so just trying to give you, I'm hearing because when you think of our ancestors, they see their spirit, so they see way more than we do, because we can only be in one place at one time, and that is not the case with them. They can see a lot more from their side. So they're just, they're communicating to you what they can see. Let me just, we have detangle. Take a look at the situation at hand and deconstruct its event. Examine everything you know before making a decision. And I'm also going to read from the book really quickly, because this is a new deck. I just got it like 2 days ago. And upright says obtaining all the information. It says wide tooth combs separate difficult knots and are beautiful and often high maintenance hair type. It represents the new represents to sit back and take apart things one section at a time, letting information come to us through our willingness to see through the cracks. Ask yourself, is this the full picture? What am I missing? Whose perspective are you missing? Some maps are better charted from a bird's eye view after all. Take your time and investigate before making any critical decisions. So this to me is really coming back into them saying that there's too many people dipping into your relationship. Because what I was hearing initially is that there are too many people. There's too many people saying too much about your relationship. There's too many people influencing you and your partner about what you should and should not be doing. And it's just making you both very, very confused. And it's making it really hard for the both of you to really figure out, you know, because I saw initially you two were like, you know what, we can move past this and make it work, but there's so many people coming into your ears saying all these different things. That's causing more confusion, that's causing more of an imbalance, it's causing more of you to get that hot and coldness because you're not seeing things clearly because everybody seems like they have something else to say. And your ancestors are saying, like, stop listening to everybody else. Like, you take a step back and look at the situation from your perspective. Look at all the details and you make, they're saying, like, they're like clapping their hands. You make the decision based off of what you know for a fact. They're saying the event that has happened or the situations that have happened, your partner's behavior, your behavior, and each other's emotions. They're saying stop letting all of this noise interfere with you being able to see things clearly. They're really coming through heavy on that. Stop letting all this noise preventing you from seeing things clearly. Then we have the countryside. It says connecting with and learning from all parts of nature. And yes, I'm going to refer back here again. So I'm sorry, but I want to be able to make sure I'm getting the message correctly. So it says, nature isn't always an Instagram-worthy picture. Sometimes there are fruits rotting on the ground or bugs that you don't enjoy. The power of nature doesn't only lie in its aesthetic beauty, but as a cohesive ecosystem that's the result of its part. Nature's energy is incredibly powerful and you can draw upon in many areas of your life. Do you work well with the Fae or other nature spirits? The only way to receive these downloads is to go outside and take it all. It's two things I'm picking up with this. First off, going out and connecting with nature, and I'm hearing grounding yourself to help with that imbalance that's occurring right now. Making sure to listen to your guides. I'm hearing for you, going out in nature makes it easier for you to connect with your ancestors and your guides, and clearly they're going to want to have some deeper conversations with you about this. But what's also sticking out to me is the countryside. The countryside, if you lived out in the country before, you know it's not very populous. There's a lot of space, there's not a lot of noise, there's not a lot of people in your energy, there's not a lot of people surrounding you. So it's very, very peaceful, and it's very, very easy to essentially, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. It's very, very easy to focus on yourself without having all this outside interruption because there's not a lot of people around. And you're surrounded by nature. So you're taking what nature has to say and what your ancestors have to say into consideration. I want to pull one last card for this group, but I mean the message, your ancestors are coming through very, very loud and clear. The hoodoo dog, utilize your spiritual tools. Dolls can be used as guardians or protection or control over your enemies. As I first stated, there are people that are learning more and more about your relationship that A, you didn't tell them this information, and B, they don't have your best interest or your partner's best interest at hand. That's coming through. They're also saying that this may not be an enemy per se. This may not be someone who hates you. They're coming through and saying right now this is just simply someone who is, you know, a little bit bitter, and they don't like to see other people thriving and happy. And part of them don't want to see you and your partner happy and creating that happy, healthy relationship and eventually, I'm hearing, family for you all in the future. So they're saying, you know, this is another reason to be mindful of who knows, you know, what in your relationship, because they don't have the best intentions. And you really need to make sure that you're not only not telling everyone all your business just because everybody doesn't need to know all your business, but also for protection as well, because as the saying goes, words can be spells. So with that being said, this is the reading for my number ones. If it resonated, please like and comment letting me know below. If you would like to see more of my content, make sure you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and of course subscribe to YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. I wish you the best of luck and have a blessed life. So for those of you that chose pile number 2, this is the reading for you, and I'm going to start with your tarot cards before moving on to the on-camera shuffle for the oracle card. So first off, we have Owl. Examine what is said, not him who speaks. 8 of Clubs, Lodi or criticism. He who does not find his way back from the forest gets lost within it. In the 10 of Clubs, Eru or burden. The same sun that melts the wax hardens the clay. And just for awareness, Owl is the High Priestess card. So what immediately was coming to me as I shuffled, and what they were saying is a lot of you are doing a lot of projection right now onto your partner, especially with this criticism card and the burden combined. What they're really emphasizing right now, and yes, because I'm getting chills, is that a lot of you are, I'm hearing a lot of you are feeling like you are a burden to your partner. And your ancestors are coming through and saying you are not a burden to them. That is something you are projecting onto them. And I'm hearing specifically, oh yes, tingles. I'm hearing specifically because a lot of your parents or a father figure made you feel like you were a burden growing up. I'm also hearing abandonment issues with this group as well. So for you all, what's really coming through is how a lot of things I'm hearing from childhood that you never had, I'm hearing the opportunity to heal from. And yes, because they keep giving me chills, you never had the opportunity to heal from a lot of these abandonment issues, a lot of these, issues of feeling like a burden, and now it's kind of erupting to the surface and you're projecting it onto your relationship. You're projecting it specifically on your partner. And I'm not judging because I've done this myself as well, so I'm not judging in any shape, way, or form. But with the High Priestess card, they need you to really go ahead and I'm hearing realize that these are some things that you're going to need to heal from in order to create the healthy, I'm hearing stable relationship. And I'm hearing allow your partner to treat you as you deserve to be treated without feeling guilty. I hear a lot of you feel guilty because you feel like, your partner does so much for you. You're not used to people just treating you that way. Like they're saying this is how a relationship is supposed to operate, but you're so not used to people treating you that way. You feel guilty and you feel like you're burdening them. And I'm hearing your partner even tells you like, no, you're not a burden. You're not a burden. I don't know why you feel that way. You're not a burden to me. But your mind, it's like I'm seeing like literally like somebody's mind, a brain, being squeezed tight in a cage. It's because right now your mind feels it's so stuck in your childhood. And I'm hearing for some of you, even like seeing like possibly one parent or your parents treating each other as burdens, that it's just really hard for you to escape this mentality. But that's what they're coming through. And here's the specific thing. A lot of them are coming through and saying that you need to connect with your highest self and your inner being really heavily right now, because our inner being and our highest self, they don't want anything but for us to flourish, for us to have the best of everything. They recognize work, they recognize healthy relationships, and they recognize that there's no need to feel guilty and that they're not a burden. They are simply deserving of nothing but the best, and that comes with treatment in a relationship as well. You really need to focus on this moment. They're saying you really need to focus, because this isn't kind of a two thing, this is more so of a you thing. You really need to focus on healing from your childhood, and I'm hearing that some of you may want to go to therapy for that. That's something I will always encourage in my readings because it helped me a lot. Go to therapy. Also do a lot of inner child healing. Tend to your inner child greatly right now, and also connecting with that highest self and connecting with your inner being, with recognizing that you are worthy of just good treatment overall. Woo. Man, they have been coming through with the messages. So I'm going to go ahead and start the on-camera shuffle for the oracle cards because I already know they're going to have more to say. Okay. Couple, I'm going to take a look at something that came out, but I'm going to reshuffle that. What is it that Pile 2 needs to know? We have Scotch bonnet pepper, a staple of Caribbean cuisine and a symbol of productive fire energy. I'm going to read this one really quickly because this is a new deck and I want to make sure that I'm understanding everything, but I felt called to work with it. So upright, it says anger, frustration, fire energy. Scotch, man, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, bonnet peppers are of great importance to West Indian cuisine. When properly added to a dish, it can enhance the flavors and create a savory experience like no other. Right side up, this card represents your passion and where you're directing your energy to. It's encouraged you to keep on going with what drives you, to utilize that fire energy to create something in the physical that only you can bring into this world. What's really standing out to me is creating this healthy, stable relationship that I'm hearing a lot of you didn't see growing up. But here's the thing, as she stated, it's where your energy goes. If you're so focused on projecting your childhood onto your partner, that's where your energy is going to go. It's going to be focused on, projecting your relationship and your partner to be a certain person or a certain way. Also need to say, which one was it? Examine what is said, not him who speaks. You really need to figure, I'm hearing a lot of you need to recognize your partner is not like your parents. Because I feel like a lot of comparison is going on with that. They are not your parents. They are not your parents. And then we have a pearl of the Caribbean Sea. Call upon the power of the ocean to cleanse your body, home, or object in question. All stagnant energy will be washed away. A lot of you need to cleanse your home because, obviously when things aren't smooth in the home, that energy accumulates. And if you don't cleanse it, it's going to get stagnant and just sit there. And it's also just, we do talk about it, just how cleansing water can be for us. I'm hearing a lot of you need to go through and have some cleansing baths, some purification rituals for yourself, for yourself as well, because your energy, for starters, they just said that your chakras are not aligned, and I opened this up and it says balanced energies. Right now your chakras aren't aligned, and that's something you need to focus on because it's really with you, it's a lot of inner work that needs to be done in order to get this relationship on I'm hearing the right track. But the booklet says the sea protects us and cleanses us while the pearl represents the physical body. Oh. That's interesting. Because when I saw that, when it said the physical body, even though it's saying like upright, it's balanced energy, but it's not. You need to move to the state where it's to this balanced energy, and it's also speaking of a purified state, ready for a new cycle. So this is the energy you need to move into, but right now you're in the reverse stage. And what's standing out to me is when I saw that physical body, I'm also hearing for you, there's some trauma lingering in your physical body as well. And that is something that needs to be healed. And last but not least, I'm going to shuffle one more oracle card from this deck to finish off this message from your ancestors right now about your relationship. A couple of cards, going to reshuffle. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. As I'm shuffling, they're saying a father figure is the one who imposed trauma onto your physical body. We're not going to go into detail about that, but that's coming through as well. That needs to be healed. That's causing a lot of pain in you. because I had a physical sensation that wasn't really pleasant. It's just like I feel sick to my stomach, like in my lower gut area. If I don't get this next one right, I'm gonna say that that was probably the end and they just had me channel that last message. Oh, fudge. That flipped out. I wasn't gonna grab it, but that flipped out, and trigger warning again, but it seems like although this father figure was traumatized you in ways we're not going to go into detail, because if you know, you know, it seems like they would get to the curb essentially, because they were the provider for the family and they provided the funds from the family, so you just grew up in an environment that was traumatizing all the time. And man, your childhood just really messed you up. It really did. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I said, therapy, inner child healing, connecting with your highest self to work through all of these issues, because all of the issues you're experiencing internally are the reason I'm hearing why your relationship is kind of going through these ups and downs. So that being said, that was my reading for number 2s. I'm not even going to do the whole light thing and everything because I don't think you enjoyed this. It probably resonated, but I don't think you enjoyed it, so I'm not going to say that. So I'm going to tell you to have a beautiful day. I'm going to tell you good luck on your healing journey and to have a blessed life. Bye. So for those of you that chose pile number 3, this is the reading for you. We're going to start with your tarot cards before moving on to the on-camera shuffle for your oracle cards. So first off, we have 7 of Spades, or Ikoko, secret, truth cannot be hidden forever beneath evil. Iknu, decision, 2 of Clubs, wisdom outweighs strength. We have Queen of Diamonds. Iyabaye, Queen of Earth. She who has people is richer than she who has money. Last but not least, we have the King of Hearts, Oba Ife, King of Love. What the eye has seen, the heart never forgets. Very obvious message. Also, ancestors have been coming through very clearly, like they always do. And essentially, what they were telling and communicating is there's been some deception and betrayal I'm hearing that you're aware of, but you're choosing to ignore, and they are saying to stop doing that. You need to stop ignoring and choosing to look the other way. Man, they are really spilling the tea with these readings. I saw an image of a man laughing around the corner, so it's like, let me explain the image. You're in this house, you're kind of peeking around the corner, and there's this man laughing with this woman with red lipstick and long hair, and they're giggling with one another, and while they're having the time of their life, you feel like your heart is shattering. And take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It is a general reading, but that message came through so clearly I had to speak of it. They're saying that a lot of the people who are watching this, you caught your partners in the act and you didn't say anything. And at this moment, they're saying you're trying to ignore it, you're trying to pretend like everything's okay, that you're fine. But what's really standing out to me is they said, look, you really need to put your foot down and to make a decision, because right now, Queen of Earth, she who has people is richer than she who has money. But we also need to think about she who has quality people is richer than she who has money. You need to recognize your worth and recognize that they're saying it's better to have people that are 100% for you, that support you, that love you, that care about you, than to have someone who has status, fame, and wealth. Their words, not mine. Don't be mad at the messenger, but they're coming through very, very clearly with that. And they say no matter how much you try to ignore and forget, as this card says, what the eye has seen, the heart never forgets. This isn't something you're ever going to forget. This isn't something I'm hearing that you can clean out of your mind. Cause I see a lot of you when you're stressed, you do a lot of cleaning to take your mind off things. This isn't something you can clean away. This isn't something I'm hearing that you can shop away. You know, this is like you've already seen it like that. You've seen it and your heart felt shattered when you saw it. Like there's nothing that's gonna ever take that image away. There's nothing that's ever gonna, you know, undo what you saw and what they did. And they're just coming through and saying like, you saw what you saw. You can't ignore it. You know how you feel about it, and you know that this person doesn't have your best interest. Look, this is me delivering the message. This is what the ancestors are saying. I didn't even have plans for this reading, but look, they said this. We need to talk. So this is what's coming through. Please do not. Please don't leave awful comments down below, because I know some people are gonna be pissed seeing this, but please don't. I'm just the messenger. This is what they're saying, and honestly, coming from myself, I'm kind of in agreement. Like if this person is showing in their actions like they don't care about your feelings or your heart, or you know, if you're in pain or if you're hurting, and they just are gonna keep doing, because they also just said, because that wasn't the first time. Man, y'all are really like going in today, but they're coming through and saying like, you know, it's over and done with. Be over and done with it, instead of wasting your time with this person that you know doesn't have your best interest. And I'm agreeing with them, but that's solely because if it's someone that you know genuinely does not have your best interest in hand, you should not be with them. Like that's just a rule of life. I'm kind of scared to shuffle the oracle cards. It's always the number 3s or like 5s. Not always, but when a rough message comes through, it's usually number 3 or 5. Let me shuffle this. Can you guys give, I don't know, some encouraging messages? Because this is a hard read right now. So is there any way you can give some encouraging messages for your children, your descendants? Because you guys aren't being so nice right now. And while yes, I'm a reader who's going to say what needs to be said, I also would like to give some lighthearted messages as well, some kind messages, because they're going through a lot right now, and I just want to thank you. Okay, so you guys got this as well. The first group got to tangle. Take a look at, essentially it's taking a look and a step back at all the events and making a decision then. And as they said, I'm sorry, this is such a hard reading, and they're not making it any easier, because they're saying, and I'm seeing images of like clues, shirts with lipstick stains on the collar, and perfume on old laundry. Specifically rose scented perfume on old laundry. I asked for a kind message. Okay, I don't think they're going to be nice about this one. Oh, okay, well they said they tried being nice. They tried, you know, getting your attention and encouraging you nicely, and it didn't work. So now they're coming in with the heat via me, unfortunately. I did ask them to channel, so I can't really be mad at that. But again, please know, this is not to hurt your feelings. This is not to make you sad or anything. They're just being very blunt, because they said, we've tried getting your attention already, and you either weren't paying attention or you're trying to ignore so much. This is the way we have to get through to you. Empty is sadness, loneliness, depression, or depressive episodes. There are times when things feel so heavy that we're numb to the good things too. It can feel suffocating to feel misunderstood. Even when surrounded by groups of people, we still find ourselves feeling lonely. Spirit wants you to prioritize taking care of yourself and remind you that you are deeply loved. Okay, they said something nice. You are deeply loved. They're knitting together a future of your wildest dreams, and it's all because they love you. They know it can be a lonely journey. Lean on them, and if need be, you can also speak to a professional or a therapist on darkest days. Taking care of yourself, even with mediation and treatment, does not make you any less spiritual. I think that's an important message. Like, taking care of yourself with, the things we have in modern society, that doesn't make you any less spiritual. What's standing out to me is how they said, that card, you are deeply loved. Like, we understand it's hard right now. We understand that you're going to have a long way to go to heal. But right now they're saying, like, we are being very, very blunt with you right now because we love you so much, because there's a brighter future for you, but you can only get to that brighter future if you're willing to, I'm hearing you, let this person go. And they also just say, how are we supposed to give you the person of your dreams if you're stuck with a person of your nightmares that you are currently living right now? Because I'm hearing a lot of you, this is 2, so I'm not going to take it, but a lot of you are like, this was like the worst situation for you. And look, another one where they're saying, I love you. Thank you for keeping me in your thoughts and memories. I love you. I don't think you're keeping them in your thoughts and memories. I think you are, but you're ignoring what they're telling you. But again, they're coming through and saying, we love you. Inspire creative drive. Remain focused on your goals. Keep your head clear. And this is essentially the same thing to me of them wanting you to clear everything out so they can go ahead and make way for what you deserve. Make way, I'm hearing, for the... And it's saying wildest dreams, but for you all, I feel like I'm getting like this... Are some of you Pisces? I'm feeling heavy Pisces energy right now. Maybe Pisces in Venus. Maybe also Pisces in the 7th house. As a lot of you are very romance driven. You're very romance driven people. And the worst thing that can happen is being with somebody, I'm hearing, for years, and finding out that they weren't shit. Oops. But they weren't shit, and they're not about shit. Don't shoot the messenger. So this was kind of the worst case scenario playing out for you right now. But they're saying, like, you can leave. You have the option to leave. You do not have to stay with this individual. And when you leave and you go ahead and you heal, it's time to build back better for you, for your life. And we can send you the person you've been waiting on. We can send you the person you've been dreaming of. But we can't do that while you're with the person of your, daytime nightmares, essentially. Ooh, these readings. I wasn't planning on doing this. They just said, oh, you're open back to us, so we have news. So this was the reading for my number 3s. If you enjoyed, please make sure... I'm not going to do that because this is a rough one. I wish you the best of luck on your healing journey. Have a beautiful day and a blessed life. Bye.